send spirits against you. Thoughts, images, people, places, actions. You understand? All of these things fight against you to bring you out of the light and back into the darkness. You understand? But you have to understand that there is no such thing as darkness. That's what the scriptures is showing you. Because the Most High sees you everywhere. Everywhere. Every single where. Read.
For thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb.
Exactly. From that time all the way up to now. He's covered you. Read.
Verse 14. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
That's a beautiful verse right there. I've heard people say that many times. I'm like, wow, that's just got to meditate on that. Say, oh, read that again, brother.
I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
And cannot be unmade until the Most High says it's time for you to come to me. So don't fear death. Don't fear this life. Don't fear nothing. You understand? You cannot leave that body until the Most High says come. So when people say they can kill you, said, nah, the Most High can kill you. He might use you, he might use somebody else. He might kill you and let me go. You understand? Either way you want to put it, you cannot kill me. The only one that can kill me is the one that made me. That's who?
The Most High.
There you go. Read.
Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well.
Exactly, because marvelous are thy works, and those that know that he did it. You understand? They have made the Most High to a cartoon, a weak God, a lesser God. You understand? They have put him in a corner to the point where now they're saying that rainbow is ours. We're going to get that. That's ours now. Represents us. You understand? That's our cause. You understand? Which is wickedness on another level. But you know better. You know better, right? So you don't have to worry about these things. Everything that's happening now on this earth is supposed to happen right now. Your job is to not get caught up in it. That's your job. Walk by it. Turn around. Read the word. Stay in the light. Read.
My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth.
Amazing. Read.
Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written.
Amazing. So you know, hold on, brother. You know what that means, right? All your stumblings and up and downs and mistakes. Some of us I knew about that. There's nothing hidden. Okay? And that's why you should go naked before the Most High. Mentally naked, emotionally naked, spiritually naked before him. Why? Because he knows everything. He sees everything. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Don't think you need to hide anything from the Most High. You might hide it from man, but don't hide it from the Most High. You are wonderfully made. Wonderfully made. Meaning what? All that you did, he knows about. You understand? He said it to Isaiah before you was even born. I knew you in the womb. He knew you in the womb. He knew your potential in the womb. You understand? So that's something for us to understand and appreciate, so that we don't get caught up and we don't undervalue ourselves. You understand? It's very important that you understand that, because now what would happen is the spirit of guilt will step in and say, man, what you think? We ain't worthy, man. Okay, don't get caught up like that. You're wonderfully made. Read on.
Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them.
Amazing. Wow. That's some beautiful words right there. Words that make you want to really dive into it and say, well, okay, that means I'm all right. He called David his man, a man after my own heart. David was nowhere near perfect. Right? Killed 10,000s. Okay, y'all gotta remember that part. Don't forget that part. Okay, because y'all didn't kill nobody, right? You ain't killed nobody. So whatever you did, you're still acceptable to the Most High. And that's the point that you gotta understand. Okay, whatever mistake you made, whatever thoughts you had that was wrong, you're still acceptable to the Most High. And if you're hearing this word, if he has you in this book, he's accepting you. He's dealing with you. You gotta understand that. If you don't understand that, what you're going to understand is everything else that's going to put you back in depression and make you think that, no, he's not dealing with you. You're not good. You're this and you're that. Okay, so when I continue to say, understand this, I want you to meditate on it. And I want it to be the prevailing thought in your mind. I am accepted by the Most High. He is dealing with me. Okay? He is dealing with me, which means that you are accepted. That's what we need to be. Because if we're not there, we're somewhere else. We're in the darkness talking about, damn, I ain't no good, I ain't got no job. You know what I'm saying? Even God won't shine his light on me. You don't need to be there, man. We've all been there. Feeling rejected, feeling unwanted, feeling unacceptable, feeling that, there's just nothing right about me. Don't go back there. Stay here in the light. Let the light shine on you. Whatever mistakes or madness, whatever you did before the light, the Most High saw that because he sees through the darkness. We read that, right? All right, so don't worry about all that. Don't worry about all that, brothers and sisters. Be joyful. Like we read in Psalms 100. Be joyful and go before the Most High and praise him. Thank you, Lord. You accept me. You understand? Because your friends, your family, they might know some of the dirt you did, but he knows all the dirt you did. You understand what I'm saying? He knows all that you done did. What you never told them, what you did in the darkness, right? What you did in another state. They don't know that. He knows that, and he's still dealing with you. That's the point that you got to understand and accept. Because when you do that, you feel good. I feel good right now. I did a lot of dirt. You understand what I'm saying? At one point, I was denying the Most High. Saying, oh, nah, I'm 5%. I mean, I'm God. Right? I did all that. Which is kind of the ultimate crime, right? That's like robbing God, talking about you God. God made you, but you turn around and say, no, I'm God. Right? But that was in my ignorance. And he winked at that. He saw that. And I was a 5% for a couple of years back in the 80s. You understand what I'm saying? But when I came to the light, I said, damn, that's foolishness. Right? So if I could be the one that denied him, and he still turns around and deals with me, that says a lot. That's mercy, that's justice, that's truth. That's everything that we need in a power, in a real king. You understand? No pride up there. And he can't do it. You understand? So he wants us to be the same, not full of pride, not full of nonsense, just complete. Going through life, yes, we're going to make mistakes, but it's all right. It's all right because he accepts you. All right? Let's leave from here and go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 7. Because you have to understand that there is nothing outside of the control of the Most High God. Nothing. He is power. He is the ultimate. There is nothing above him. And I believe it as I'm saying it. I believe it every morning when I open my eyes. I might feel like crap. I might feel like I'm about to throw everything up. But I understand that there is a power above me. That's very important for us to understand. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 7. I formed the light.
The Most High forms the light. He made the sun, the moon, right? And before that, he said, let there be lights. So he forms the light. Read on.
And create darkness.
He creates darkness. Before he said, let there be light, there was what? Nothing but darkness. Then he said, there shall be nothing but darkness on the earth in the last days. We're in the last days. So now you have a better understanding of what darkness is what men created. Not what the Most High created. The sun is still there, the moon is still there. Men created darkness, gross darkness. But the Most High says what? I form the light, I create darkness. Meaning what? There's nothing that controls him. He makes it. You understand? Read on.
I make peace and create evil.
So now if the Most High wanted peace on earth, there would be peace on earth. But come December 25th, they're going to be singing peace on earth now. Right? Right? When he wants it, there'll be peace on earth. And men have been trying to get peace on earth since the beginning of time. They've been fighting for it, killing for it. Right? Saying, if I take down this kingdom, I'll bring peace to them. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you don't create peace. The Most High creates peace. So in the midst of darkness, he can create peace just like that. Solomon had what? Peace for 40 years. Why? Because he had his father David take down all our enemies. You understand? So then after that, Solomon the son came on the throne and ruled for 40 years and nothing but peace. Subdued nations. And guess what? Those nations willingly paid tribute to him. You understand? Because they saw the wisdom that he had. Right? Exactly. So it's to show you the greatness of the Most High. You might want to do something, but unless the Most High sanctions it, it's not going to happen. Think about what I'm saying. Man has been trying to get peace since the beginning of time, right? How come it didn't happen? I'm going to tell you why it didn't happen. Read that again, brother.
I form the light and create darkness. I make peace.
There's something else that he does that some people don't acknowledge, don't understand, don't accept. Read.
And create evil.
So he says, I make peace and do what? Create evil. People don't understand that. God's not my God. What kind of God is that? That ain't my God. You don't do them things, right? He says he creates peace and evil, brothers, sisters. Understand that. So people, they don't understand the balance of the Most High.
Yeah, I always wondered that.
Right, right. But the Most High doesn't. The Most High does it all. You cannot have anything in creation that the Most High did not allow or create. So I don't care who says that they're the most evil or the baddest. The Most High is better. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High is more powerful. So when you see evil on the earth, it's still in check by the Most High. Don't let nobody talk about Satan this and Satan that. Satan, get out of here and all that. Don't worry about all that. The Most High created him. You understand? And he knows his faith in the end. Where does he go? Right. So he's on a timetable, and he's supposed to be the height of evil, right? So at the end, he gets to heave home. You out of here, buddy. Your time is up. I'm gonna put you in lockdown for about 1,000 years. I'm gonna let you out for a little while, but then that's it for you. What do you think Satan's gonna say? When the Most High says, okay, your time is up 1,000 years. What do you think he's gonna say? Nah, but you know, I'm God. No, you ain't no God, right? You're a creation of the Most High. So if the Most High can do that to the devil, what does that tell you about the power of the Most High? It is the ultimate power. Okay? So don't let nobody fool you with spirits and wizards and Satan and all of that madness. There's nothing above our power. You understand me? Nothing. The devil himself is in check right now. Okay? When he went before the Most High in the book of Job, he had to go there humbly. He wasn't running nothing. You understand? So that's something for you to understand. That's something for you to understand and appreciate. The Most High is above evil. He creates peace and he creates evil. Meaning what? Evil cannot rule him, cannot overtake him. You understand?
God.
He is the ultimate power. Where we at?
Verse 7. Up from the top.
Yeah.
I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the other one, do all these things.
He does all those things. He's not keeping it a secret, he's bragging about it. But it's for those that have understanding. Those that are still saying, not my God and all that foolishness, that's ignorance. Because you'll never understand that evil or that darkness. The Most High controls that. Verse 12.
Verse 12? I have made the earth and created man upon it.
The Most High did that. Not Charles Darwin, not evolution, nothing else. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High did that. He didn't come out of an ape, an egg, or nothing else. He came out of the earth and the Most High formed him and fashioned him and blew the breath of life in him. So who deserves the credit? The Most High does. Okay, read that again.
I have made the earth and created man upon it.
No Big Bang, none of that madness. None of that. You understand? And our power is taking credit for that. So now you'll be a fool to leave all of this and go back into the understanding of the world, which is nothing but darkness. Nothing but darkness. You understand? Evolution as a theory disproves itself every day. But the Most High as a power lives every day. And proves himself by what? The sun is still there. The moon is still there. The earth is still here. You're still here. Okay? Read on.
Even my hands have stretched out the heavens.
Right. So now, it wasn't the Big Bang that created that power that stretches out the earth, the heavens, I'm saying. You got to read this and see where wisdom is. You understand? Because it takes energy to do that. What is the energy? The Most High. Okay? The Most High. Where did your energy come from in the Big Bang? What was the catalyst of that?
Spark.
What was the spark? Read it.
And all their hosts have I commanded. I have raised him up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city, and he shall let go my captives. Not for price, nor reward, save the other one of hosts.
Because he knows it's going to happen. Because he's going to make it happen. You understand? He says all his hosts he created. The sun, the moon, the stars, everything. Everything. You understand? So that's the one that you should fear. That's the one that you should worship. That's the one that you should give thanks and praise to, the Most High. You got to stay in here to remember that. Go to verse 15.
Verse 15. Verily, thou art a power that hidest thyself.
Because he doesn't take credit for it. He allowed man to say all kind of madness. He allowed man to say that man came from apes, monkeys. He didn't stand up and say, nah. He didn't have to. He allowed man to say, oh, we was tadpoles in the ocean, and then we kind of walked out one day. You know what I'm saying? He allowed man to say that madness. So read that again, huh?
Verily, thou art a power that hidest thyself, O power of Israel, the Savior.
Our Savior. You understand? But while man was telling all those theories, how you know we was in caves, and first we was monkeys, and then we came out of that. Then we was bowed down. And then we kind of rose up, look at like that. Then after a while, we was upright. You see, huh?
Then said the hair.
Right. You know what I'm saying? All the hair fell off us and all of that. We stopped climbing the trees. All that madness. See, he allowed man to say that. But if you have an intelligent mind, you would say, hell no, that's stupidity. How they gonna be monkeys still on the earth, but I'm on the earth? If I came from them, they shouldn't be no more, right? Oh, they just wait for another time. What's up with that? Right? But see, when we were in our ignorance or darkness, we believed that foolishness. But now that we are in the light, they don't believe that. You got something to say?
I was just gonna say that the monkeys are still evolving. Like yesterday, one was a monkey, today he's a human.
Right. How come I can't take my monkey home and watch him grow and watch him grow into a man? How come I can't do that?
That's big nonsense.
I should be able to go to the pet store, buy a little baby monkey, and just take him home and just film him growing and turning into a man, right? That ain't gonna happen because that's nonsense. Okay, like I said, you have many people that believe that because their minds were not grounded into the truth. Some wanted to believe a lie. So with all the other things that they have said to distort the word of the Most High and the power of the Most High, people became foolish. Okay? But we're not fools no more. Now we can read what it says and think about it, meditate on it and say, what? All of that required a power. It required an intelligent power. That's why there's such a thing as intelligent design. You understand that? And intelligence did all of these things, created everything around us. How can we be so smart? How can we be so intelligent and not have a power that is even more intelligent than us? Think about that. We don't know the secrets to the universe, the sun, the moon, but there's a power, an intelligent power that made it. He knows those secrets and will reveal it to us. Okay? So now, that should only say to you how precious you are. Okay? That should say to you how desired you are by the Most High power. He's teaching you. He's dealing with you daily. Be thankful for that. Praise Him for that. Barakatha Yahweh. You understand what I'm saying? Go to Exodus chapter 4, verse 22. Because the Most High didn't just start dealing with us yesterday. You understand me? He's been dealing with us. Okay? It's just that He said, you know what? Because of y'all are so full of pride, I'm going to let the whole earth forget about you. Forget about your name. I'm going to let them forget what you look like. You understand? As a punishment. But from the beginning, the Most High was always dealing with Israel. Exodus chapter 4, verse 22.
The book of Exodus, chapter 4, verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the other one, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Israel is my son. Say that to the most powerful person on the planet. Pharaoh. Saying what? I don't care what kind of power you think you got. Okay? Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Alright? And that's very important for you to understand. The Most High is bragging about you. Ain't that amazing? You're supposed to be bragging about him, but he's bragging about you. He's proud that he created you. Understand that. That's the kind of feeling you need to have every day. The Most High Power that created all things brags about us as a nation. You understand? That's who we are. That's the kind of power, kind of people we are, by the kind of power that created us. Okay? Everybody should remember that. Verse 23.
And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
Think about that for a minute. He getting ready to kill people for you. He getting ready to kill people for you. He did in the past in Egypt, because he did slay all the firstborn, right? But that's the sacrifice he made for you, right? And again, he said he will do the same thing. Again, he said he will do the same thing that anybody. Matter of fact, go back to Isaiah chapter 60, verse 12. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 12, so you can understand the power of the Most High's words. It ain't gonna be no choice thing in the future, whether or not you want to be a servant. You understand? If you're Israel, you're the servant of the Most High. If you're a Gentile, you're the servant of Israel. That's just the order. Isaiah 60 and 12, read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish.
You're going to sacrifice all of them, just like he did to Pharaoh back in the days. You understand? If you don't choose to serve Israel, what? You're done. done. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. Read it from the top again.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted,
saith the Most High. All right? That's the kind of power you're dealing with, and that's the kind of people that you are. You got to get that in your loins, in your members, in your mind, and think about it. He bragging about you. He gonna kill people for you. You understand? Understand that, man. That ain't no joke. That's serious, brothers. That's how important you are. Because the way that the world is gonna be healed is by what? The Most High redeeming Israel, and then the Gentiles coming up and being taught by Israel. Israel shall finally be the priests that it's supposed to be, the nation of priests that it's supposed to be, teaching the nations righteousness, truth. You understand? Bringing them out of gross darkness and into the light. So now, verse 14. I just love this verse right here. Isaiah 60:14.
The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. So
the slave masters, former slave masters, and those that benefited and were enriched because of slavery, it's talking about them. You understand? They got their whole kingdom because of what they did. Free labor for all those years. You understand? This nation and kingdom is what it is today because of what happened to us in the past. You understand that? Understand that. Very good. You got to understand that. Don't think that, oh, that's over with. No, it's not over with. Why? Because you can't take a man from his country, make him into a servant, and then at the end they say, oh, you can go now. It don't work like that. It don't work like that with the Most High. You understand? The Most High wanted to punish us. Yes, we sinned. We did all kind of things, but then y'all took it too far. Lynching people. Okay? Cutting off men's members. Cutting open the bellies of pregnant women. Letting the baby fall on the floor and doing a dance on it, man. What kind of wickedness is that? He ain't telling you to do that. He ain't telling you to do that. He said made them serve with rigor. Yes, but he ain't telling you to kill their babies and lynch them and cut off their private parts. He ain't telling you to do that. So now that's what the punishment is for. That's coming. You gotta understand that. Everything on the earth seems like it's all right. Like, okay, the Most High forgot about it. No, he ain't forget about it. He ain't forget about it. He did not forget about it. And that's what you gotta understand. The Most High is your vengeance. You understand that? He is your vengeance. Okay, so now they talked about 40 acres and a mule. That ain't happened. Right? That ain't happened. But the Most High is going to give you more than 40 acres and some silly old mule. Okay, he's going to give you a kingdom that's everlasting, that has righteousness, that has mercy, and all those wonderful things that you're supposed to have. Okay? So forget about that 40 acres. And they talk about reparations and all that. It's not going to do but destroy us more. Some people say, nah, we need that though. We need that though, right? No, you don't need it, man. Because can nobody pay you for what you've done? How do you pay a man for serving you 250 years? What salary is that? Okay? How do you do that? How do you calculate them numbers?
Right.
Tell me, how do you do that? Oh, you know, worked with me for 250 years times 100. What do you do? How do you come up with a figure? So when I say reparations won't work, it's not going to work because it's all going to be a lie. You can't pay me for what my forefathers have done. You can't do it. There's no number that's going to satisfy me. There's no number that's going to satisfy the Most High. Now to the some of the simple, listen, well, I'll take about 10,000. I don't know. Right? It'd be done in a week. Got Bentleys and all them things in the projects, right? Like in the 90s, right? Benzes and all kind of things parked up in the project and you ain't got no more money, can't pay your insurance. You know what I'm saying? The money done. You understand? But you got paid. So I don't owe you no more, right? So that can't work, brothers. They took you as captives. Not only did they take you as a people, they did the worst thing you could do to any nation. Take the knowledge of who their God is and who they are. You see? That's beyond captivity. Okay? Because you can take a man from Syria and bring him to wherever. He still knows he's Syrian, right? The black man don't know who he is. That's why he accepts all these titles. Negro, black man, Afro-American, okay? African-American, right? We accept all these titles and we accept them all. We're okay now. We're not Negroes and Negroes and none of them things. We're African-Americans now. What the hell does that mean though? Okay? What does that mean? It means you're lost sheep. Because tomorrow they can give you another name and you accept that. How could you name a nation? You can't name no nation in the 20th century. You can't. How are you going to do that? I now pronounce you blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's what we did though. We accepted it because we accepted it with pride. But we did it in ignorance. And what we need to learn is that we are the children of Israel. The seed of Israel. The promised people. And the Most High is going to redeem us. He's going to redeem us. And to be a prince of the power is the most important title and person you can be on this earth. Okay, we've been through a lot. But at the end, the Most High is going to redeem us. And he's going to redeem us with power like he did in Egypt. You have to remember that. Don't slip and slide and go back into being a Negro. Don't do it, man. It's easy. You can leave out of here a righteous man and outside use a nigga. Don't be that. Always be princes of the power, princesses of the power, because that's what's in you. And when you live that role every day, then you're complete. Then you're the people of the Most High. Okay, so you finished reading 14?
And they shall call thee the city of the other one, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
Exactly. Not no more Negro. They ain't gonna call you that no more. Nigga and hairstyle, Afro-American. They gonna call you that no more. They gonna call you what? You say you gotta read these words right. The Most High is making changes, man. The Most High is gonna bring you out of this darkness and show the whole world who you are. He put you there. He placed you in captivity because he deserved it. But at the end of captivity, when he really releases us, then the world will see who we are. Okay? It wasn't Abraham Lincoln that made the Emancipation Proclamation. He didn't free us. Why? Because we were still slaves. Right? Still slaves. So now, when Abraham Lincoln made that proclamation, it took about a year before it was ratified, right? So then by, I think, 1863, everybody was supposed to be free, right? But Texas didn't hear the word. So it took them till June 19th, 1965, right? So now we all celebrate that. Oh, Juneteenth, we're free. No, you're not. Because guess what happened? It's a big lie. Because Those in the southern states, they ran up into Texas. They ain't gonna tell you that part, because they wanted to continue with their slaves. Understand? They wanted to continue with slavery, so a lot of them ran into Texas and built Texas. The population of Texas expanded greatly. Why? Because they wanted to continue with slavery. So it's a lie when they say Juneteenth, because they already knew about that. They were just hoping you wouldn't come and say nothing. You understand? But on June 19th, 1865, they made that announcement. So now, there's so much darkness out here. There's so much darkness that back then we believed the nonsense. We started celebrating and marching and making all kind of pies. And hey, we're free now, take a pie, right? So even up to last week, they were celebrating Juneteenth, right? And you still ain't free. You celebrating the biggest lie, one of the biggest lies that was ever told. You understand? They didn't know. Somebody had to come and tell them 2 years later that the slaves were free. Texas didn't know. Come on, give me a break. Texas knew, was just trying to hide out. You understand? But then remember, after that, we still have to go through Jim Crow. We still have to go through the continued lynchings. Okay? And KKK. And remember that the lynching was a way for them to also express their power by saying, even though y'all emancipated, we're still gonna kill y'all because we got power over you. You understand? So when you read your history with knowledge. Don't just read what in the little textbooks that they give you, because that's a lie. You understand? A lot of history is a lie. That's why it's called gross darkness. History is revised, revisionist history that makes them look good.
His story.
You understand? That's his story, it ain't us. You gotta remember that. Revised history. So when you really go deep into it, and of course, when you go by the manuscript, the history book, then you find the truth. Because remember, the Bible is a book of prophecy. But when a prophecy comes to pass, it's history. Therefore, this is a real history book. This is the real history. This is your history book. Now, when you get all those images out of your mind of what they made you believe that people in the Bible look like, then you'll know history. Then you'll know history. But from there, let's go to the book of Psalms 83 and 1. Psalms 83 and 1. Psalms chapter 83, verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right, so you understand that this is real history. The nations of the earth in the ancient days, that's what they did. They said, let's make the whole name of Israel disappear, so nobody remembers them. Why? Because we were a terror to the nations by way of the power of the Most High. You understand? So they say, they did so many things. They put things in the way for us to sin. They would come to us on the Shabbat day, try to sell us things. You understand? They did so many things. They made the Sabbath a burden. You understand? They changed the Shabbat day to the first day of the week instead of the seventh day of the week. They did all kind of things, to make us sin. So now, our brothers and sisters in the churches that they go to church on the first day of the week, calling it Sunday, don't understand that that's not what the Most High intended. That's not what He sanctified. He sanctified the seventh day. Now, some people say it don't make no difference. Yes, it does. It does make a difference because the Most High said it. Who are you? Who are you? Okay? Now, you understand that Constantine in 321, he was the one that officially changed the Shabbat day to the first day. You understand? But no man has that power. So even though that's the norm, that's the social thing to do, to go to church on the first day of the week, no, you must always acknowledge the seventh day of the week because the Most High did it. If God did it, why you ain't doing it? That's what I'm asking you. Think about that. Just because your church minister, rabbi, reverend, whatever, That's his thing. What is the Most High's thing? You understand me? So this is when the nations got together, and they came together to make what? The nation, the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Verse 4.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So that's why we don't know who we are. The nations don't know who we are, but that's a part of the darkness and the gross darkness on the earth. That's one of the biggest parts of the gross darkness on the earth. Not knowing who the children of light are. So you understand, when you cover the children of light in darkness by taking away their name and who they are, then the whole earth is in darkness. You understand that? So that was a part of the plot from way back. But now we're coming back and acknowledging who we are as the children of Israel. And that's very important that we show the whole world who we are. Because they're thinking, oh, the people in Israel, they're the Israelites. No, they don't even say that, by the way. No. We're Israelis, right? But the whole point of the matter is we're Israelites, children of light. It's just that we got caught up in the whole darkness. The Most High allowed this. It's a part of our punishment. But as you read in Isaiah 60, he shows you that he's going to reverse all these things. And he's going to bring Israel back into the light. Go to the book of Isaiah chapter 42 and 9. Matter of fact, go to Romans 11. Romans 11 and 1. Because even though the Most High allowed that from the beginning, and it became a part of the whole darkness, that's not what's going to happen in the future. That's not what's going to be what the Most High wants. That was for a time period, in other words. Romans chapter 11, verse 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, hath Yahweh cast away his people?
That's a good question, because the whole earth says that, right? Don't forget it. Them children of Israel, they've done away with that. No, they know more. Read that again.
I say then, hath Yahweh cast away his people? Yahweh forbid.
Yeah, God forbid. No, never. No. We're still here. Read on.
For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham.
Who's talking here? It's Paul. He said, I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham. Read.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Read.
Yahweh hath not cast away his people.
And that's the answer for those out there asking, are they just spiritual Israelites now? Are they done away with? No. Read verse 2 again.
Yahweh hath not cast away his people.
Which people is he talking about though? Is he talking about any Israelite? Anybody that could become an Israelite? What kind of people is he talking about? Read.
Which he foreknew.
The same people from the past is what he's talking about. The same people. And Paul is explaining that so that the nations can understand that the Most High is still dealing with his people. It's just that he allowed them as a punishment to be forgotten by the world. You understand that? He allowed them to forget who they are. Like it says in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Okay, read on.
What ye not what the scriptures saith of Elias? How he maketh intercession to Yahweh against Israel, saying, Anawan, they have killed thy prophets, and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life.
Right, because we did all these things. We did all these things. We killed the prophets. We did all kind of wickedness. We worshiped Baal. We did all kind of... So the Most High said, okay, I got you. I'm going to punish you. But the worst punishment that he ever did to us was allowing us to forget who we are and who he is. That's a part of that darkness. Read on.
Verse 4. But what saith the answer of Yahweh unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
So there's a remnant who will not worship idols. There's a remnant who will come to the lights and be redeemed by the Most High. Okay? We're a part of that remnant. There'll be many more. Not just 144,000, brothers. You understand? The 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe just represents the ruling body. You understand? When you see that great crowd that John didn't recognize, that's Israelites. But it's Israelites that what? That were scattered in every nation on this earth. So as a result of a period of hundreds of years, what happened to them? They started looking like every nation on this earth. You understand? So that great multitude that John couldn't recognize, he couldn't recognize it in the vision because they looked like everybody else. You understand? So that's why you got to be careful who you teach, how you teach, and what you say to those that don't look like you, brothers. It's not just going to be the 144,000 that are going to step in front of you. It's going to be some of them other Israelites that you don't recognize. You understand that? So we got to use wisdom when we teach. Read.
Verse 5. Even so then at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Right, the election of grace. Because why? We didn't keep the law. So the election of grace is what saved us. Verse 6.
And if by grace, then is it no more of works. Otherwise grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then is it no more grace.
So it's grace, but your works show forth your faith. You understand? The reason why you do the works is to show forth you're proven to the Most High. I believe. You understand? That's what that means. Benjamin. Alright? Read verse 7.
Verse 7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
Blinded. So the majority of our nation was blinded. The majority of our nation don't know who they are. Don't know who the Most High is. You understand? You gotta remember this verse right here. The election, the Most High always kept the fire burning in them. You understand? In the time of slavery. You understand? They understood partially. You understand? But they were elected for that purpose and continued to teach. Nat Turner, all them brothers, they knew who they were. H.S. Cherry, all them brothers going way back. And when you look up at some of these names, you said these men knew they were Israelites. Yes, they did. You understand? Some of these sisters knew they were Israelites, but they kept it secret. You understand? Because to speak that, you'd be killed. Why do you think they didn't want us to have the Bible? Because the Bible is our history. You understand? They didn't want us finding out who we are. And when we found out who we are, we would then embrace the Most High. And if we embrace the Most High, we'd be free. But the Most High didn't want to allow that for that time period. We had to serve our captivity. You understand? So, like it says, there's an election, there's a remnant, but then the rest were what? Blinded. They have ears that can't hear and eyes that can't see. You understand? Even today, you're going to show them and some of them can't see, can't hear because it's not their time yet. There's a time, there's a day, there's a year, there's a day, there's an hour, there's a minute, there's a second when each person that's supposed to be brought out of darkness is brought out. You can't do it before that. You will teach and it will stay in the back of their minds until the time that they're supposed to wake up. You understand that? You were asleep before, right? All right. Brothers told me one time, before I came into the Word, they said, don't you remember standing in front of the Israelites and arguing with them? I said, no, I don't remember that. I said, yeah, you were the only one. You were loud, you were proving points. I'm like, what? I don't remember none of that. You understand? But brothers that was 5%ers that I was with, they said, yeah, you don't remember that? No. I don't. Honestly, I don't. But they told me I went before Israelites I was teaching in Manhattan, and I was showing them points, and I was arguing, and I was going on. I don't remember none of that. But I do remember the word now. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how the Most High operates. Because back that day, I could have woken up, right? It wasn't meant that day. It was by another method, all totally different. So there's a time for everything, brothers. And that's the point I'm trying to show you. Go to the book of Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9. Everything will happen in a season. No need to push nothing. Even when you're dealing with your family, your mother, you ain't got to bang her over the head every day with the Bible. You understand? When her time comes, she'll come to the light. If that's what the Most High wants. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, And new things do I declare.
Right. The Most High declares it. The Most High is the one that will put things into effect. Do your part, but don't expect everything to happen with you. One man planteth, another man watereth, but it's the Most High that gives the increase. Okay, you can talk to people till you're blue in the face. Until the Most High flips that button of understanding, they're not going to get it. That's what I'm trying to explain to you when you're dealing with your family, friends, and even people in the street. You got to deal with them in a manner knowing that this is my portion. Somebody else will have another portion, but then the Most High, He's the one that opens their minds. You understand? What did the scripture said, brother? We are blinded. Who blinded us? The Most High. Our people are blinded. Okay? Hold that and give me Hosea 4 and 6. You will not come out of darkness until the Most High sanctions it. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6.
The book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Read that again.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Because they don't know they're destroyed. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the wisdom. They don't have the understanding. You understand? The Most High won't give it to them until the time is right. Read that again, brother. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Right, and that's what it is. We're in a state of rejection. You understand why? Because when we didn't know, we didn't appreciate. When we did know, we didn't do the right thing. You understand? So we are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And the bad thing about it is that there's so much false knowledge out there. There's so much wicked knowledge out there. We're Muslims, we're Christians, we're all kind of things. We're Buddhists. We're all these things. And guess what? All these people at one time had us in captivity. Arabs had us in captivity, right? The Moabites, the Ammonites, all of them, they all had us in captivity at one time. The Chinese, the Japanese, and at one point in time, they all had us in captivity. You know, before the captivity in the Americas and the rest of the world was the Arab captivity. They had us as slaves, and they did all kind of terrible things to us. We don't remember that. You understand? But our fathers today will say, well, you know, most of the slaves that came here were Muslims. Yeah, they were. A lot of them were. Because it was beat into them. You understand? Because if they had a choice, either you become a Muslim or you die. You understand? So that was back then. We were in our ignorance way back. But that's because of the time that we were in. Now is a new time. And the Most High is declaring it to the whole world, declaring it to you. You are. Trust me, you can go into any nation right now and they'll know about Israelites. You understand? Read.
That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power.
Right, because we forgot the law, what happened? Most High said, I'm going to forget about you. Read on.
I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me.
Exactly.
Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity.
Isaiah chapter 42 verse 23. Because when you're in slavery for all those years, you're not a nation anymore. You're not a man or woman anymore. You become like cattle. You understand? You become like servants, simple servants that have no power. So even during that time, our forefathers wondered, what happened? Why did God allow this to happen to us? What did we do? You understand? It was in them, like, why? They were singing "Oh, Sweet Chariot" and all that good stuff. You understand? They was doing that, but they didn't get the answer. Read.
The book of Isaiah chapter 42 verse 23. Who among you will give ear to this?
They was wondering back then. You understand? Read on.
Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Read.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil?
Who allowed us to be put into slavery? Right? What power put us in the hand of our captors? Think about it. How are you going to be slaves for 250 years? and not know what happened. What did we do? Going from the strongest people, the most powerful people on the earth, to slaves. You understand? Think about that. Lay it to heart. Think about it, because our forefathers in the fields back then, they was thinking about it. This sun showing off his hat? I don't know. What happened? They talk about our history. You said we came from kings and all that. But now we're in service in the field. Nobody thought about it? They thought about it every day. Read on.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the other one?
The Most High did that, brothers. God did that. So when we were in captivity and slavery for 250 years, the Most High did that to us. Our people need to know that. They need to learn that. They need to be showed that. Read that to them. Read it to them so they can understand. It says what? Who gave Jacob for a spoil? What's a spoil? It's what you get when you win the battle. We were the spoil. You understand? Read on, brother.
Did not the other one?
The Most High. Read on.
He against whom we have sinned?
And that's why. So you got the answer. Who did it and why he did it? God did it. God put us in slavery. Why? Because we sinned against him. Over and over and over and over again. You understand? But these things were supposed to happen. That's what you got to understand. They were supposed to happen. Read on.
For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
We didn't listen to him. He gave us many chances. You understand? We didn't listen. We were not obedient, so he punished us as a father punishes his children. Read.
Therefore, he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger.
Not just because we're his people and his children will he not punish us. He will punish us. He has been punishing us. You understand? Read.
And the strength of battle.
The Most High that used to fight all our battles and allow us to win, turned and fought against us. Read.
And it hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. Chapter 43?
No. Verse 22.
Isaiah 42:22.
Yeah.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
Read.
They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
This is describing us. This is who we are. Robbed and snared. The population of most prisons, majority of the prisons is filled with who? Us. That's describing you. That's who we are. Read.
They are for a prey.
Meaning what? Everybody takes advantage of us. Everybody. All nations. Every single one of them. Wherefore pray. Read on.
And none delivereth.
None, because we weren't supposed to be delivered except for by who? The Most High. When the time is right. Read.
For a spoil, and none saith restore.
They said give them the 40 acres and a mule, but they ain't never give it. You understand? Nobody. Restore means what? If I take you from this land, I'm going to bring you back to where you were, right? That's what that means, right? Nobody did that. Think about it. Was Africa crying out for us? No. It's like, nah, we don't know that. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Now, you got places like Ghana. Yes, Ghana's inviting you back. Yeah, no doubt. You got places like, different places in Africa. Why? Because a lot of them are waking up to the truth. A lot of them are seeing what happened to George Floyd, right? A lot of them are seeing what's happening to us as a whole. How we're being executed, murdered. Why? Walking while black, driving while black. You understand? So a lot of them are now saying, wait a minute, man, how could you get away with that? You understand? In a country that's supposed to be so modern. So a lot of these nations are waking up, and like I said, Ghana's one of them countries. You got, other countries, but nonetheless, remember, the only one that will redeem you, save you, and deliver you is the Most High. So don't think you're gonna jump on a plane and you saved. You're not saved. Because why? The hands of your enemies reaches into all nations. So until your enemies are taken down, you will not be saved. But you will be saved by the Most High. You understand? That's prophecy. He said he was going to put you in slavery. You were in slavery. He said he's going to redeem you. Therefore, he will redeem you. Not man, but the Most High. Okay? let's go to the book of, and I'm not going to be long, just Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Because we need to learn who we are. Stop being mystery people. Stop allowing other people to give us our name. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. You such and such. You such and such. And we say, okay. 45. 28,
The book
45.
of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Adawan thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign, and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Right, so these curses, we were meant to go under them and serve them, but they were left on us to be a sign so that we would be able to identify who we are. You understand? That's why the Most High did that. So later on, when he decided to bring us out of the darkness and show us who we are and tell us why these things happen to us, then we would learn. It wasn't going to happen before. Read. Matter of
Verse
fact,
47.
go to verse 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which the Adawan shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
So not only did that happen, and not only did that destroy us, but that yoke of iron has never been placed on any nation's neck outside of us. That is a sign who we are. You understand? All of these things that happened to us didn't just happen to us to punish us. It happened to us as a sign so that we would wake up and find out who we are. Who else can say that happened to them? What nation? None. None. So these things happened to us as a sign when we would come back to realize we are the children of Israel. And the Most High put us in slavery because we broke his commandments. We broke his laws. Read.
A nation of fierce countenance.
Matter of
Which
fact, go
shall,
to verse 32. Sorry about that, brother. These things are signs. Yes, they happen to us. Yes, it's punishment. But they're also signs. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. The fruit of
Right,
thy...
so that's again, is a sign of what happened to us. That's what happened to us in slavery. They would actually breed us and then sell us off to the other plantations. Thank you, brother. You understand? That's our history. But our history is a sign as to who we are. You understand? So when you're teaching people, show them these verses so that they can wake up and see what that happened to us. That happened to nobody else. You understand? That's what we're supposed to do, to bring the people to life. Go to verse 68. 64, sorry.
64. And the other one shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
So we were scattered into every single nation. Right? So again, what brothers have to realize is that this is hundreds of years ago. Okay? That this happened to us. So we lived amongst the other nations, and as a result started looking like the other nations, because we laid with the other nations. We married the other nations. You understand? So this is who we are. And that's why I say to you, don't accept that term black Hebrew Israelite. What the hell is that? Show me that verse. Show me that. Because some brothers are so proud that I'm a black Hebrew. No, that's what the media made you. Why? Because they wanted to connect you with that killing that happened in Jersey. You understand? You're not a black Hebrew Israelite. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as a black Hebrew Israelite. Because even back then in Israel, when we were in our kingdom, the Most High said what? My nation is like a speckled bird. Meaning what? We came in many shades. Many shades. Back to the book of Revelations, when you see that crowd that John couldn't recognize, we're everywhere, man. We look like everybody. You understand? That's very important for you to know and understand, because that's a part of what you're supposed to teach and make the people understand. Read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
That's our biggest curse, not knowing. But the Most High took the knowledge of who He is from us, and He took the knowledge of who we are from us. We didn't know our power, and we didn't know who we are. You understand? Once you do that to a nation, they're destroyed. Destroyed. That's what happened to us. Verse 68.
And the other one shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Let's read that slow, brother.
And the other one shall bring thee into Egypt.
Egypt means what?
Bondage.
Bondage. Because the correct name of that land is what?
Israel.
Israel. But the Most High made them use that word Egypt, which means bondage. So He shall bring you into bondage again. Read on. How?
With ships.
What other nation went into slavery with ships?
None.
Okay, and for those that are ignorant and don't understand, you don't need no ship to walk from Israel to Egypt. Okay, you don't need a ship to do that. I don't know what ship does that. it's a landmass. You understand? Matter of fact, they call Israel Western Africa. Like it's part of the landmass. You understand? So there are a lot of people that are religious, and there are a lot of people that are supposedly well taught that don't get that. But you have to use a spiritual mind, not trickery, but a spiritual mind to get that. What do you mean with ships? How do you do that? And then ask yourself the question, how did the Israelites get into Egypt in the first place, the first time? They walked in there. Why? Because it's a landmass, see? Exactly. So this time the Most High said, I'm going to bring you there by ships, meaning what? It's not the same Egypt. I'm just bringing you into captivity again, but it's going to be like Egypt. That's what that meant. Read it from the top.
And the other one shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Again, meaning the second time. Read on.
With ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
The transatlantic slave trade, brothers, sisters. That's what that is. Okay? Took us from Africa, where we were, after being in Africa for almost 1,500 years. Okay? Because remember, we ran out of Israel 70 AD, and a lot of us, some of us was taken into captivity into Rome, but a lot of us ran down into North Africa. And we lived there from 70 AD until the time of the Arab slave trade, but even more significant, the time of the transatlantic slave trade. You understand? So, some people believe that our history started on them ships. Nah, we weren't born on them ships, slave ships. We was the people before that. Look into your history. We was in Africa for 1,500, 1,400 years. From 70 AD all the way up to early 1400s, right? 1492, but even before that. You see, I say before that because 1492 was what you would call a European slave trade, right? Transatlantic slave trade, but before that was the Arab slave trade. They dealt with us first. Okay? Then came the Spanish and the Portuguese and Italians and everybody else. Come get what they can get. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'll say we were living in Africa from 70 AD to about 1453.
Okay.
Before Columbus.
Right. Then they came along, and listen, when we went into Africa, we went into the land of our enemies. Why? Because we fought them like crazy. You understand? We had many battles with them. Took them down. So of course when we was running in, they said, aha, got you now. You understand? But even in Africa, we were our own nation. We fought again. We were fighting. And they were tired of us. So when it was a chance to get rid of us, they got rid of us. You understand? Some of them Their generations later, the slave traders, they're still proud of it. But not all of them, brothers. Not all of them. Don't think that way. Don't let nobody mess with your mind. Okay? Because there's still a lot of us in Africa. And we didn't acknowledge that before, but there's still remember, we came from these places. West Africa. Okay? But we have Israelites in North Africa, East Africa, every part of Africa, Central Africa. You understand? But a lot of us ended up on the west coast of Africa. You understand? The Ivory Coast and Senegal and those places. You understand? So that's where we were taken from. But we started in North Africa, and then we ran down into the interiors of Africa. And some of us, just like what happened in Babylon and what happened here in America, we became like the people in practices and customs. You understand? So we were warring against different tribes, in other words. And when these different tribes got a chance to sell us, they sold us. But even up to today in Africa, they know who they are, different tribes. Some of them know they're Israelites, some of them know that they're Hamites, so-called Africans, right? But they know their history. It's time for us now to know our history, who we are. The people of the Mosai, the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. Read on.
Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So now the Mosai said we should not see our land again. And then he said that there ye shall, meaning it will happen, it did happen, there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Read on.
For bondmen,
which is a male slave, read on.
And bondwomen,
which is a female slave, right? So the Mosai took his nation of people, the Israelites, and sold them into slavery as punishment. You understand? As punishment. Read on.
And no man shall buy you.
Now that last part is a mystery. I don't know why. It's very simple. Because some people say, see, nobody bought them. That's dumb. Were we not bought on the slave market? The auction blocks?
Exactly.
What does that mean, no man shall buy you? No man shall save you. It's said so many different times in the scriptures. No man shall save you out of it. Meaning what? We will not be redeemed from the Americas and Europe, the Caribbean islands by nobody else but the Most High. You understand that? That's what that means. Plain and simple. Very plain and simple. So I wanted you to just get that and understand that that's our history. That's what happened to us. And at the end of the days, we're going to come back. Let's go to Isaiah 44. I'm going to make this the last scripture. Isaiah 44 and 1. Because Israel is coming back. Isaiah 44 and 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 44, verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob my servant, and Israel whom I have chosen. Thus saith the other one that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob my servant.
So this is the Mosai that made us. Very important that you understand that. He chose us. Okay? Read verse 2 again.
Thus saith the other one that made thee and formed thee from the womb.
Meaning we're the same people. Read on.
Which will help thee. Fear not.
Mosai is telling us don't fear in these times. This is our time when we become a nation again. Read.
O Jacob my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground.
What is these words? The knowledge of who we are. This is the water that's being poured. Read on.
I will pour my spirit upon thy seed.
We've been talking about that. Mosai's spirit and what it does to us. The Mosai's spirit is a consuming fire. You understand? Read on.
And my blessing upon thine offspring, and they shall spring up as among the grass.
Meaning what? One man shall do the planting, another man shall water, but the Most High shall give the increase. But the Most High is showing you that this is how it's going to happen. He's going to water us as we water the ground, and we're going to come back into knowing who we are. Read.
As willows by the watercourses, one shall say, I am the other one.
Right, I am the Lord's. I'm a righteous man. I belong to the Most High. Because before that, we would say we belong to everybody else. You understand? Read.
And another shall call himself by the name of Jacob.
Why would he call himself by the name of Jacob? Because he just learned that he's a son of Jacob. We're learning. We're coming back into who we are. Read.
And another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Adawan, and surname himself by the name of Israel.
Coming back into to knowing who you are. I'm a son of Jacob. I'm an Israelite. You understand? Before that, you was Afro, you was African American, you was black, you was all kind of things. You understand? But now you're gonna wake up and find out who you are, that you are an Israelite. Read.
Verse 6.
Okay, that's it, brothers. I just wanted y'all to get that. Hope y'all got something out of that. History is very important. Read, consume history. Don't fall for lies. Most of history that you have in a lot of these books, darkness, rubbish. What do you call it? Revisionist history. Revised history. You understand? Don't fall for that. This is the real history book right here. Okay? So my brothers, my sisters, I hope you got something out of that. With that, I'm going to say, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kum Yasha Allah.